Black Mirror is a British science fiction anthology television series that's on Netflix. The show explores the dark side of modern technology and its impact on society. Each episode is a standalone story that examines a different aspect of technology, such as virtual reality, social media, artificial intelligence. The series has been praised for its thought-provoking storylines, its commentary on social issues, and its innovative approach on storytelling. Many of the episodes feature a dystopian or unsettling view of the future, and every single episode is different, so you can watch it from any order of any season. And while this is technically a TV series, every single episode of Black Mirror feels like it's a mini movie. What's really cool about it is that it manages to blend sci-fi with horror, comedy, and drama at the same time, depending on which episode you're watching. And it really dives into the human experience and how technology can change us for better or for worse. And it's crazy when you realize that the first season aired in 2011 because it was way ahead of its time, because nowadays all you hear in the news is about how advanced AI has gotten and even virtual reality. And one of my favorite things about Black Mirror is that a lot of episodes will have these little Easter eggs that will link all of the episodes together. So you watch it trying to figure out if something is a reference to a previous episode or is trying to link something together. It's just a little Easter egg that I really like about the series. And then there's also Black Mirror Bandersnatch, which is basically not part of the show, but it was a standalone movie that released, and this was a very unique experiment. This was basically a choose your own adventure movie. So you can basically choose, just like in a video game, but this time it's actually a movie, as to what the character does. And this was basically the most trippy movie that I've ever watched, just because it's something that I've never seen before, and it did have a lot of criticisms because of the plot, and a lot of people did not really like the outcomes, but either way, it was very innovative, and because of that, I do have very high expectations of Black Mirror, because it tends to really go outside of the box and do things you haven't seen before. The Twilight Zone is a classic science fiction anthology television series that aired from 1959 to 1964. The show was created by Rod Serling, and it really did go on for many episodes, and each episode was a standalone story that explored a different aspect of science fiction and fantasy, such as time travel, alien invasions, and even alternate realities. The show was known for its thought-provoking storylines, its innovative approach on storytelling, and its ability to create suspense and tension. Many of the episodes featured a twist ending or a surprise reveal at the end, and the show had been praised for its ability to be able to make viewers think deeply about the human condition. The Twilight Zone has really held its spot as one of the original and best anthology series. Despite it being so old at this point, I mean, basically every single character that you see, a lot of them have already passed on, or they're basically in their 90s at this point. But because of its sci-fi themes, it is still very relatable to modern day. And just like Black Mirror, not every single episode is the same. They're all different. So that means some of them will be very good and then some of them not so good. And I do have to say, there are a few episodes on Twilight Zone that really aren't that interesting or innovative, but you do have to realize that some of the episodes were written by different people, and some of them were even shot in a different way, which you might notice if you're watching the entire series. And then at the same time, you have a certain number of episodes that have become classics, such as The Monsters Are Due on Maple Street, Nightmare at 20,000 Feet, and To Serve Man. So it's very obvious that Twilight Zone and Black Mirror have a lot in common, but which is better? But first, we have to kind of answer the question of, is it even really fair to compare these two shows? Because they're literally made 50 years apart. But if there's any show that I think Black Mirror can be compared to, it's obviously gonna be The Twilight Zone. The biggest difference between the two, I would say, is not the fact that they're 50 years apart, but it's the fact that Black Mirror focuses more on technology, while the Twilight Zone focuses more on sci-fi. But it's very obvious that Black Mirror does have a lot of inspiration from the Twilight Zone. In fact, if the Twilight Zone didn't exist, it's hard to say that Black Mirror would even exist. And having watched both of them, I still have to say that the Twilight Zone is better than Black Mirror. The Twilight Zone was more of an originator. It has way more seasons, way more episodes to really prove itself on a consistent basis, whereas Black Mirror has only a few seasons out now, and it can really go any way. And from the latest season, season 6, which has gotten actually the most negative reviews out of any season, it's not that hard to see Black Mirror really having a fall down. But with that being said, Black Mirror is still a really good show, and I definitely enjoyed a lot of the episodes that they have put out. And that's pretty much it for this video, guys. Remember to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Until we meet again, thanks for watching.